Welcome everyone, my name is Eltimar, and if you are here, it means you either want to watch both playthroughs, or you want to watch the good playthrough of Wrath of the Righteous. So I'm going to go over our character really quickly. We're going to be playing a Quarterstaff Master Monk with 16 Strength, 16 Dexterity, 12 Con, 12 Int, 18 Wisdom, and 7 Charisma. You might be wondering why the Charisma is so low. It's because we are using the traits, which it doesn't show here. Oh yeah, it does. Acolyte. Which means that we get Persuasion and Lore to our list of class skills, and we can use our Wisdom instead of our Charisma while attempting Persuasion checks. So our Persuasion is going to be handled by our +4 from Wisdom, so no big deal there. We did put a bunch of points into Strength because Quarterstaffs are not Dexterity-based weapons. You cannot use them with Weapon Finesse, so we're going to need a good amount of Strength to get some plus to hit and plus damage as well. You can see all of our stats here, and we are just going to jump into the game. I took Crane Style and Weapon Focus Quarterstaff as my feats, and we are a Plumekith Garuda-blooded Aasimar. So that's where we're going. We have 13 armor class to start. Arguably is not that great, but we'll get higher armor class later, because it's not taking into account our Wisdom right now, I don't believe, which is from our Monk talent AC bonus here. The unarmed Monk gets their Wisdom bonus to their AC and Combat Maneuver defense. Alright, let's jump into the game. Let's see how it's changed since the beta. Make way, coming through, fetch a healer quick, somebody shouted out. And we just got thrown onto the ground. They really didn't put us down, they just kind of dropped us.
Hey, somebody! We got a wounded fighter. Can we get a healer over here?
And Nevia says,
My, would you look at this? But why would you drag a wounded fighter into the middle of the festival square? Couldn't she be carted off somewhere else like, oh, I don't know, an infirmary? Or an accommodating ditch?
I also love Darren as a character. He won't be in our group though, because he is definitely evil.
Make room, everyone! Step back! Now, what's the matter? What happened to her? The wound looks nasty. Who did this to her?
You hear the stern voice of an elderly man, but you're so weak you can't even turn your head to look in his direction.
Demons, Prelate! We found her barely alive outside the walls of Canabris.
The walls, you say? Enemy doesn't usually stray so close to the city. Must fortify the defenses. And you, hold fast. Don't die. We'll see you right. We'll get you patched up now. But first, you there, guard. Take her weapons. Bearing arms is not permitted during the festival. Wounded or not, everyone must abide by the rules. She can get her things back after the festival. O Inheritor, leader of our troops, the sharpened edge of our blades and the unyielding strength of our armor, Iomade, I beseech you, grant your mercy, heal her wounds.
The magic envelops you, but your pain lessens only slightly. I won't give up that easily.
Hear, hear! That's the Crusader spirit. My powers are not enough here. Someone call for Terendelev. You there! Yes, you! Stop dithering and gawping and make yourself useful! Go and get Terendelev!
Prelate, surely there is somebody else here better suited to running errands.
The lady raises her head in an affectation of surprise.
I'll get her! Terendelev! Has anyone seen Terendelev?
Be quick about it before it's too late! Now, who are you? I don't remember seeing you before, and I have an excellent memory for faces.
The old man leans over you. I'm a Crusader. I came to fight demons.
Oh, Iomade saved me from green recruits. They come without planning, without preparation, and they die before they even see their first real battle. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at the utter waste of it all.
There's Terendelev.
My dear Prelate, please, for the sake of the festivities, stop interrogating this poor woman. She has been through enough already. Go on. I'll take care of her.
All right, as you wish. You are our protector, and a dragon at that, so I shall defer to your wisdom. But be on your guard. I've been informed she was wounded near Canabris. That means the demons are prowling just outside the walls, and the city is crawling with their spies. Others may be able to relax on this holiday, but not you or I. Not the defenders of the city.
Muttering discontentedly, the old man walks off. Sorry for the quick pause there. Let's continue on.
Pry loose the grudging grip of pain. Cast off the veil of suffering flesh. Let light and life go forth in triumph to repel the skulking shade of death. There.
A beautiful silver-haired woman leans over you. She seems ageless, her face wholly unlined, but centuries-old sadness gleams in her eyes. The longer she speaks, the stronger her voice becomes. Thank you for helping me.
I accept your thanks. But my work is not yet done.
Who are you?
My name is Terendelev. I am the protector of the city.
Are you really a dragon?
You don't believe me? Perhaps I should retake my true form and engulf this square with my ice breath to win your trust. Pay no mind to my current guise. I appear this way when I walk among the people. I would hamper the festivities if I tried to attend in my true form.
The woman lets out a melodious laugh. What happened to me?
I do not know yet, and that troubles me. I am not entirely sure what the demons did to you. This wound is no ordinary injury, and it was inflicted by no ordinary weapon. I have rid you of your pain and restored your strength, but only time will allow you to heal fully.
Can I go?
Certainly, but be careful. I have managed to get you back on your feet, but I have not healed you fully. Alas, sooner or later, your pain will return. But do not be discouraged. You will recover, I promise you that. Tomorrow, come to the cathedral and say that you are expected by Terendelev, protector of Canabris. We will find a way to help you. But for now, put this out of your mind and enjoy the festival. They are all too rare in this time of war, and merriment is one of the best medicines.
Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen, but that's okay. Let's go throw a knife. There's 3 things you can do in this square. You can drink, you can throw a knife, or you can punch a dummy. You can only do 2 of the 3, so it doesn't really matter which ones you do, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it doesn't make any difference. Although, to be fair, the quest got stuck the last time I played through the game, because you could only do 2 of the 3, and it kept to the 3rd one as part of the quest. So, here we are. The day of the city. We're gonna go punch a dummy as well. Oh no, things are afoot.
Crusader gods, behold Iona Day, you poor imposter. Your city will fall to me. Your followers will feed my hunger.
Discari, Lord of Locusts, leave my city!
Let the feast begin.
Discari's here. Discari himself. Blimey! One minute we had a dragon, the next, bam, she was gone. What are you gonna do? Fight or flee? If flee is your plan, let me help you out. I've got a scroll here with a good protective spell.
The halfling's armor is splashed with blood, but he is armed to the teeth, with sword, a blade, and a hatchet on his belt. and a crossbow on his back. His voice sounds familiar to you. I've seen you somewhere before.
Yeah, you have. You owe me your life. I'm the one who found you outside the walls and brought you inside to be healed. I see they patched you up. Good thing they did it before the attack, or else you'd have been done for.
He looks us over. Who is Discari?
You must have got a good drum around the head, friend. Discari's a demon lord. The most fearsome enemy of all Crusaders, and all living things, come to think of it.
What is the situation in the city?
Who knows? Everything's on fire, crashing down around our ears. The place is crawling with demons. Looks like a whole army attacked the city. We're sitting ducks!
Well, I think we're gonna look for a way out of here. Give me the protective scroll.
Right
It's better
away.
than the crossbow.
Stand still now. No fidgeting while I cast this on you. Good luck! Try not to get eaten now!
The halfling's words are drowned out by a terrible rumbling and the rustling of countless tiny wings.
Take that, buckhead.
A mortal gnat snaps its jaws at the Lord of Locusts. Behold, Iomade. Behold the death I sow.
And we have taken a tumble down a cliff. Imprisonment begins in one's own mind. Baphomet.
The silver dragon Tyrendelev, the defender of Canabras, fell in battle. Hardly surprising, as she had to fight the demon lord Discari himself. He willed the land to part and swallow all who dared to stand in his way. But the war was still far from over.
Alright, we have made our way into the tunnels beneath the city.
Let's move.
Actually, wait, I'm checking to see if there's anything new over here. No, okay. And Nevia and Sela are
Holy mother of...
both down here. A small woman with messy brown hair winces in pain, uttering a stream of curses through clenched teeth. She is pinned to the ground by a couple of weighty boulders.
Hey, stay with me. You actually got pretty lucky. You fell down into a black hole. But at least you're not on your own. You've got a great companion. Everything's going to be just fine. Tell me something. Can you feel your legs?
The woman in knight's armor studies the rocks intently, clearly trying to work out how to move them.
I feel them all right. Wouldn't say no to a little less feeling in them. My ankle's killing me, but my back seems to still be in one piece. My head, too.
That's all that matters. Now, we're going to... Hey! Fancy meeting you down here. You're the one that Tyrendelev healed today, right? You aren't injured, are you? Will you help me get her out from under the boulders?
Our knowledge world check is +1, our athletics is +5, so we're probably going to go that way. Hold on. We're going to get you out from under there, but also, spotting you, the knight reaches for her sheathed weapon, but after scrutinizing your face momentarily, she raises her hand in greetings. Let's try and pull her out. See if we succeed. Summoning all your strength, you manage to lift the rocks up enough to free the wounded woman from the rubble.
Damn it all. I think it's broken. Oh well, I've had worse. I'll just make myself a splint out of something. Thanks for the help. I wouldn't have lasted long on my own stuck under there. I'm Nevia Tirabade, of the Eagle Watch. I was overseeing security at the festival square. I thought maybe spies or demon worshippers might have something nasty planned. What actually happened, though, now that I did not see coming. I don't think anyone could have been prepared for that.
The woman feels her legs. Fishing a piece of twine from her pocket, she gets to work.
Well, I'm Sela. Paladin by the grace of Iomade. I crossed the whole continent to come to Mendev and fight demons. And well, I've been fighting for a while now. I don't even want to think what might be happening up there in the city. Canabras has lost the protection of Tyrendelev, and of the Wardstone too, looks like. It's a relic without equal. It was placed here personally by Iomade's herald, with the goddess's blessing. I really wanted to go see it, to pray before it. But there's no point worrying about a stone when there are people dying in the streets.
Sela's expression darkens.
Yeah, things are looking grim enough, but don't lose heart. Wardstone or no, dragon or no, Knobbrace will never give in. Simple as. Well, we've introduced ourselves. What about you?
Anevia's eyes shift to us. I came here to fight the Abyss.
A fellow Crusader! Welcome, sister. This is great. I would have been happy to have any companion in this, but it's nice to be stuck down here with somebody who's my kind of crazy.
It's a good thing you've still got your faith. Because right now, to be totally honest, faith's probably the only thing we do have. Now then, I'll hobble my way out of here somehow. The city ain't far, only 30 paces or so. That's if you're going straight up, of course. I'm afraid we're gonna have to go the long way round.
Anevia tightly ties off the twine on her improvised splint and, leaning on a stick, hauls herself to her feet.
To summarize, there are 3 of us with 5 working legs, 3 pairs of decent hands, 2 clear heads, and 1 made of wood. That's mine. Underground monsters beware! Anevia, you stay behind us. You're in no fit state to fight. If we do come up against anything, the 2 of us will try to manage on our own first. Well, onward! May the good deities lead us back to the open sky soon.
Alrighty. Nothing to loot in this little area here. Anevia's not really part of our group, technically, so she's on her own. We do get a quarterstaff right away. Just as a side note, if you don't have a weapon focus of whatever weapon you want in the game, you won't get it necessarily in the beginning, so just as a heads up, that is a thing to keep in mind. Like, if you want to be a quarterstaff master and you want a quarterstaff right away, you may have to wait for a while if you don't choose a weapon focus of quarterstaff as your first feat. So, something to keep in mind when you're making your character.
Who's there?
The fine apparel of this young half-elf woman is torn and stained with blood, dust, and dirt. However, she holds herself with such dignity that you would be forgiven for thinking you were at a high society party and not in the dank catacombs under the city. Her fingers grip her rapier hilt with confidence, ready to draw it at a moment's notice. At her feet lies a dead body, so mutilated that at first glance it's hard to tell if it's animal or human.
Relax, friend. We're not demons or cultists. Don't poke my eye out with that thing, all right? We fell down here during the attack. I'm Sela, that's Anevia, and this is our new friend. We're looking for a way back to the surface.
Really? I'm so ever glad to hear it. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Camellia. I was also in the square when... I can scarcely believe it. How did all those demons get into the city? I thought, naively it now seems, that the Wardstone protected us from attack. And Terendelev, I can't wrap my head around it.
The girl relaxes slightly, but she keeps her hand on her sheathed weapon. Her self-control falters for a moment, and you catch a glimpse of fear beneath a mask of perfect placidity. She licks her lips nervously. Not many could withstand a strike from a demon lord, and not even Terendelev.
I can't argue with that. We're fortunate to be alive, albeit underground.
Daskari himself has come to Knobbrace. There's no mistaking that ugly mug. Terendelev tried to fight him, but what could she do against a near deity? Even the Wardstone was no help. Our city used to be protected by powerful forces, but now...
Anevia shakes her head.
We've seen how powerless they truly are. Henceforth, we shall have no one but ourselves to rely on, I suppose.
Camellia finishes Anevia's thought with ruthless precision. What happened to this poor man? Who is he?
I don't know. He must have been in the square when disaster struck. I tried to revive him, but he was already dead, sadly.
He didn't get these wounds from the fall. Be on your guard. Whatever killed him likely hasn't gone far.
Sela's eyes warily scan the area.
Hang on. I think I know him. His name's Aravashniel, the egghead from the library. He was a good lad, even if he was kind of stuck up. May his soul rest in peace.
Anevia appears at the dead man's face. Tell me more about yourself.
Who am I? Just an ordinary citizen who decided to take a stroll through the square on the day of the festival. But that's not what you wish to know, is it? You most likely wish to know whether I'll be a burden should you ask me to join your group. No need to worry about that. I can assure you that I am skilled with a rapier, and I also possess some knowledge of magic.
She touches the polished snake skull amulet that hangs around her neck and gives an elegant shrug. Do you want to join us?
Certainly. Survivors should stick together. It's only sensible. Who knows what else could be prowling about in these caves?
When you keep moving, there must be a way back to the surface around here.
That's right. It would be the height of foolishness to survive a demon attack only to perish under a pile of rubble.
That would be pretty
Let's
silly.
see if this poor bloke has anything useful on him. Not to sound like a heartless brigand or nothing, but we kinda need all the supplies we can get right now.
Also true. Alrighty, so Camellia is a little bit hurt, and he has a masterwork dagger. It's actually worth a decent amount of money. Also, our formation is horrible. That's fine. I think I set this on core rules, although we are murdering our way through, so I'm just going to check that. Yeah, we are on core rules, okay. We're not playing a super min-maxed character. Like, our evil campaign is going to be very min-maxed, and I think we're going to have to play core or the next one up from core. I'm not sure if I'll play the hardest difficulty at the moment yet.
We won't falter.
That was a good critical hit. And a good sneak attack. Oh. The fight just ended very abruptly and I didn't expect it to. We're going to quickly check our formation. We can choose any... It's weird, this one you can't change for whatever reason it is. This one you can. So we're going to do these two melee in front and then her right behind. We just don't want them spread out in a giant line.
I'll cut you wide open. Be victorious.
Oh, I suppose I do have what's it called? Crane style. So that'll help her armor class as well, defensive fighting on. Alright. Killed some more things. Can't loot in combat, which is a little bit annoying at times. Oh, this is the correct way to go. We should go the other way really quickly. See what kind of loot's down here.
Save the last
See if it's
one
changed
for
at
me.
all since last time. We've only done this like 3 times now. We took reduced damage, nice. Alright. There is a corpse, and the corpse has some bracers of armor plus 1. Yep, and we're not going to take the generic mace because there's absolutely no point. In fact, those meaningless weapons we picked up earlier are also probably going to get chucked out eventually as well, because they are worth effectively nothing, and they take up a huge amount
Strike,
of
we cannot
weight.
be defeated.
That kind of hurt. Come on, hit him. There we go. He died. 22 damage sneak attack, that's pretty damn good. I have a pretty good idea how I want to build my NPCs as well, and I have a fairly good idea of what the group I want to take is going to be.
No, I can't just walk away. It's got to be here somewhere.
You struggle to make out the man's features in the gloom. As soon as he steps back into the circle of light, however, you realize you've never encountered a creature like this before. The stranger looks like a work of a vivisectionist who attempted to stitch together a lizard and a man.
Wendwalk!
The man notices you and freezes. The curling horn protruding from his head casts a malevolent shadow on the cave wall.
Lan, did you find it? Who is that?
The woman looks at you, or looks just as strange as her companion, like a cross between a cat and a spider. When she catches sight of you, she immediately drops into a fighting stance. Her movements reveal the lethal grace of a wild predator.
The do-gooders here to save our mongrel souls, no doubt. Wait. They might know what's going on up there.
Lan stops her with a gesture. Demons are laying waste to Canaveras.
If things are as bad as you say, then we all have to hurry.
Lan's expression hardens.
You didn't come from the direction of the shield mace. Damn it. I couldn't care less about what's happening on the surface, but the maze...
Wendwog looks you over, considering something.
I realize that you guys have your own troubles, but we need to be in Canaveras. People are dying up there. Please, show us the way out.
Who are you? Tieflings?
Tieflings are the descendants of people who sullied themselves by mating with demons. Our ancestors would never sink that low. We are the Underground Crusaders, the children of the Crusade's finest.
Wendwog's face twists scornfully.
Sadly, Underground Crusaders is a bit of a mouthful, so people usually just call us mongrels.
You just love repeating that, don't you, Lan? Mongrels. That's what the Uplanders call us. But we call ourselves Neathers.
Windwog lets out a disdainful huff.
No matter what you call us, it's not gonna stop our horns, hooves, or tails from growing.
I've never heard of Underground Crusaders before.
In Canabras, they're called mongrels. People say that they come up to the surface at night and eat anyone foolish enough to wander alone after midnight. To tell you the truth, I thought you guys were just a tale to tell kids at night.
Sela turns to Lan and Windwog.
That's human gratitude for you. Our forefathers suffered the consequences of demonic corruption, all to protect Mendev and Golarion. And for what? So we could become monsters used to frighten children.
Windwog gives you a contemptuous snort.
Every mongrel has their own take on it. Our chief, for example, thinks of us as something like a reserve military force. He thinks we're standing by until the moment we're needed, and when we emerge on the surface and save the day, all the people will see how good we are and they'll love us for it. Yeah, he leaves that last part out when he talks about it, of course, but it's easy enough to read between the lines.
Lan sighs. What is this place?
This is the hall where we remember the glory of our forebears. Sorry about the mess. It doesn't usually look like this, trust me. Sometimes we even wipe the dust off the exhibits.
This is where the relics of the first Crusaders are displayed. Our lives are short. Our glories are quickly forgotten. But this place helps us to remember that we are just as worthy as anyone else. And that our lives are not lived in vain.
The first Crusaders? You've been down here that long? That's crazy.
Nevia lets out a low whistle. What are you doing here?
That's none of your
We're looking for a holy sword. It was here, in the center, sticking out of a rock. The sooner we find it, the better. Some kids from our tribe took off for the shield maze. They figured it had collapsed, and now it's their time to go up to the surface, like all the legends foretold.
Lan frowns.
Except they don't have a clue what's waiting for them up there. They're not fighters. And Saul, the chief of our tribe, is dead set against it. He says that now isn't the time for the Underground Crusaders to take up arms. If we get the Holy Sword, we might be able to change the chief's mind.
It's a fool's errand. None of us will be able to hold the sword, let alone use it to save anyone. It's not an ordinary weapon. It's made from righteous heavenly flame and will burn anyone who touches it. Do you think you're special, Lan?
Windwog huffs a breath.
I'll pick it up with my teeth and tie it to my hand if I have to. It doesn't matter. An angel's sword and a troop of stalwart mongrels will be able to work a minor miracle. Speaking of which, you're still here, Wendu, which means that deep down, you know it's possible.
Lan chuckles. Windwog shrugs and turns away. A maze. Does it really lead to the surface?
Yes. There are other ways up, but they are far from here, and after the earthquakes, there's a good chance they've collapsed. But the maze... There's a legend among our people that when the walls of the maze fall, that will be a signal for us, the Underground Crusaders, that the time has come to go up to the surface and fight the demons in the final confrontation. Until then, the people say the maze is shielding us from taking rash actions. I'm the only one in our whole tribe to have been in the maze. And even I don't know if it's true. But the further I went in the maze, the fresher the air became. That means that it really must lead to the surface.
Windwog snorts.
When the ceiling and walls started shaking, the young ones in our tribe lost their heads. They figured the maze was going to collapse, so it was time to go up to the surface. They grabbed whatever weapons were on hand and ran off toward the maze. They think the maze is no longer a danger to them. They've been listening to Wendwog too much.
His eyes are filled with genuine concern.
Don't try to blame this on me. Yes, I told them that our people are capable of making our way through the maze. In the future. But I always told them to wait until I had made a map of all the maze's dangers. I warned them 100 times. But it was no use. My words just went in one ear and out the other.
A sword of holy flame. How did it wind up down here?
It came here with its owner. A long time ago. 50,000 gongs to be precise.
70 years ago, in Uplander time.
50,000 gongs ago, our forebears found a dead angel here, along with the bodies of his comrades. The tribe gave them a dignified burial, and they were laid to rest with their weapons. But the flaming angelic sword was stuck in a rock, and no one was able to pull it out. It burned to the touch, like real fire. So the rock was placed over the angel's grave. It should be here somewhere.
Wendwog rewards Lan with an irritated glare.
Maybe the angel will dig himself out and find the sword for us. That might be our best shot in this chaos.
Lan, watch your tongue.
We'll find the sword faster if we work together. I'll help you.
Thanks. An extra pair of eyes can only help. The sword will be easy enough to spot. It looks, swordy. Help us, and in return, we'll get you out of here.
Lan's expression brightens.
Now we're talking. Let's get to work. It's a good thing we all bumped into each other, isn't it?
What, you want to find the sword quickly so the underground monsters bring you back to the surface? So be it.
Alright, and this is as good a place as any to end our first video. In the next video, we'll find the sword, and we'll begin our journey back towards the surface. For now, I'll leave you guys here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you all next time. Take care.